Tennessee State head coach Eddie George. The team played at Notre Dame this past weekend. They'll be back into action. The Southern Heritage Classic. Arkansas Pine-Bluff is the opponent this year, Saturday night in Memphis. So, Coach, I know you talked about it after the game, but just some thoughts on your team and that Notre Dame experience.
Yeah, it was a challenge for us going up in there. I think we all knew that. One thing that we wanted to do was go in there and compete. We were not going to be overwhelmed or wide-eyed about the experience there. I think our kids handled it really well. They were really excited about the opportunity. You look at the first quarter, and there were some missed opportunities for us to go ahead and be up in the game going into the second quarter. I mean, the opening drive, they go down and score 7, and how do we respond? I wanted to see how we're going to respond. Well, we responded well on offense. We went down after the first big play was a 15-yard run by a running back, was called back by a penalty, overcame that, put together a 15-play drive to kick a field goal, and then the ensuing kickoff, we caused a fumble, and the ball's on the 13-yard line. And you can sense that, hey, we came to play. We came to compete. We missed a field goal thereafter, and then that's when Notre Dame just kind of leaned on us a little bit. When I look at overall, I felt like in the trenches we really emphasized, heavy conflict, and I think we met the challenge with that on both sides of the football. Our defensive line, had some success against the run. When it was time for passing downs, we created some opportunities to get some sacks. But for the most part, against a team like Notre Dame, you can't afford to make mistakes, and they took advantage of those mistakes that we made. Poor eye discipline in the back end, our secondary, left some guys wide open. Missed run fits, missed opportunities on a third down to get the quarterback down for a sack, missed him in the hole. And a lot of that can be with first game jitters. That team, Notre Dame, played a week before us, and they're 1 week ahead of us. And, like every coach on this call, every team gets better from week 1 to week 2. But the one thing I wanted to see, I'm not worried about the end result, was did we compete all the way through? And are the mistakes that we made correctable? And the answer is yes. And what did we learn? I think we've learned that, hey, when we have an opportunity to execute and take control of a game in those moments, we've got to execute and do that. We dropped the ball on the 1-yard line during that drive. So there were some encouraging things that I saw, some things we definitely got to clean up on from all 3 phases. And I'm just excited to looking forward to competing against Arkansas Pine-Bluff this week. And it's going to be another challenge for us to take on a team that's going to play extremely hard. We're all vying and hungry for a win. And this is our opportunity to go down to Memphis and win Southern Heritage Classic, a game that we haven't won since I've been here. So the incentive is there. The motivation is there, and we just got to have a great week of practice in order to get ready for the challenge.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach. We got some questions here. We'll go Mike and then Brandon. Mike, go ahead.
Eddie, in the first 2 weeks, your team will have played in front of well over 100,000 people, not counting television. Are there advantages to playing back-to-back high-profile games for a program like yours?
Yes, I mean, it really is. When you can play in front of that many people, you feed off the energy, whether you're on the road or at home or in a neutral site, you feel the energy. So we played in front of 100,000 in 1 week, in 2 weeks. But then, once we get in the conference, we might play in front of 6. So we got to figure out, how do we generate our own energy and our own enthusiasm when it's not that many people in the stand. So it makes a big difference, when we can play in front of an audience or a crowd or attendees, or that many that's interested in the ball game.
My only other question is, you had said you wanted to settle on one quarterback. Do you anticipate doing that for this game? Do you expect to have one quarterback, or you continue to alternate?
We're going to continue to alternate right now. I think Stretch has still done some good things in terms of quarterbacking, leading our team to good opportunities, although he's made some critical errors last week, three turnovers. One, the fumble was recovered by our guy, but two turnovers, two interceptions, and one that led to a touchdown. He's got to get better with that. And he needs, the more reps that he gets, the better I think he'll get. Because of course, Draylen, did not have a spring to really knock off the dust. But he's improving, he's competing. And I think anytime you can have two guys that are competing and raising that level of competition there, that's what we're going to do.
Thanks, Eddie.
Brandon, go ahead.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How you doing, Brandon?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Have you had a chance to check out any of UAPB? I know they just came off a loss against Tulsa, and there was a lot of similarities in how that game played out in terms of them getting out kind of early, and it kind of got away from them. Can you talk to what Pine-Bluff, what challenges they're going to bring on Saturday?
Yeah, they have defensively, they have an active defensive front, created some opportunities. I think they had 3 picks on the day, opened up with a pick that led to their first score. Very active on the back end, aggressive linebackers. They do a lot up front in terms of games and speed. So they play with their hair on fire. They were competing throughout, even when they were down. Their body language told me that they're still in this game, and they're engaged, and they did not quit. And that's the biggest thing I told our team is that, hey, this team is hungry for success. They're well coached, first year staff. So we are going to have our hands full. And it's going to be interesting to see. You look at the offensive side of the football; they got a couple of receivers that are really quick in space, in short space. They can take it to the house. The running backs are really good. I can't think of his name, but number 32 seems like he is the guy. He gets on the perimeter. He can make guys miss. He has great balance, good vision. Quarterbacks are solid. Kind of a big guy. I think their starter went down with a shoulder injury. I don't know the status for him this week, but he's made some plays that catches your eye. So when you look at this unit, certainly, under a new staff, they're still trying to figure things out. But in terms of effort and energy, man, it jumps off the tape at you. So they definitely got our attention with that. And we have to be mindful of that coming in, that we have to match that energy or exceed that energy with discipline and focus, because it's going to be a hard-fought battle for sure.
Okay. And just a quick follow-up in terms of health, were you able to kind of make it out of the game without any injuries, or what's the health status of the team right now?
Yeah, relatively speaking, a little dinged up here and there. Guys a little sore. We got a couple shoulders, a groin here or there, but for the most part, no major season-ending injuries. Knock on wood. I mean, when you play in a game like that, you're just praying that you make it out healthy. I mean, pretty much any game, but when you're playing an opponent like Notre Dame, that the depth is not on equal ground. So, but our guys handled it well, and I think they're ready to go this week. Sorry, my dog agrees with me.
No worries. Yeah,
I know, baby. It's fine.
I got mine downstairs, so I definitely understand.
I got one more for you, Coach, and we'll let you go. Just, you talked about, hadn't won the Southern Heritage Classic and that atmosphere. Go maybe a little bit more into that, because you played Jackson State last year too, but just what this does for your program to year in and year out playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis is a hot recruiting background for us. In the last 2 years of going down there, we make it a point to get out to the local high schools, watch a couple games, see some recruits. And it's very important for us to have a presence there. And it's great for college football. It's great for both programs. It's great for HBCUs to have a game in Memphis. It brings a great deal of revenue and excitement and energy in that area. And it's something that our fan base is very passionate about, and something that I have circled on my calendar. Say, hey, this is a game that we must be successful in. You know, Jackson State posed a, you know, we know what they were the last couple of years. Last year I felt like we played well enough to win, but we didn't get enough offense to make a difference in the game. So I'm just praying that this year, you know, the tables have turned and it turns in our favor. You know, again, being in Memphis is huge for our footprint of Tennessee State and the exposure.
All right, Coach. Well, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right. Thanks, guys.